did that is because he was gay, which would make it a hate crime.
It's a D felony. They could get 7 years.
Alaska.
Oliver and Taylor Boyd, you're under arrest for unlawful imprisonment.
What are you talking about?
You filled Emma's head with lies to keep her away from her mother.
What is doing?
Zoe is ruining my granddaughter's life. It's our moral duty to protect her.
Hello? Okay.
Emma's grandparents tricked her into saying she'd been molested.
15 minutes?
She understands it's my
Okay.
fault.
Alright.
She understands I didn't hurt her in any way. She's just sad all the time now.
Her biological mother just died. It's understandable that she'd be upset.
It's not the only reason. She's scared. The other night she woke up crying. She dreamed her mother died and the police had come to take me to jail. And she kept calling out for me. But I couldn't hear her. No one could hear her. Thank you.
How long has Emma been in therapy?
About 6 months. Since some kids at school started making fun of her for having 2 moms.
Emma's been attending St. Victor's for 3 years. Why suddenly a problem?
No one knew about her home situation until recently.
When you insisted on making your presence known in school,
Kate was sick, Emma needed a parent for school function.
and you needed to make a point that you were gay and the school better not discriminate against you.
I didn't think the school would react the way they did.
But when they got angry at your lie, you chose to take them to court.
It was important to take a stand.
More important than Emma's happiness.
No, of course not.
She was so miserable at St. Victor's. Why not enroll her in another school?
I didn't want her to be ashamed that her mothers are lesbians.
Do you think it's appropriate for an 8-year-old to fight your battles?
I have never done that.
If you love her so much, why did you make her stay at St. Victor's even though she hated it?
If I had it to do again, I would have taken her out of that place.
But you didn't. Because of you, John Hamill will never walk again.
Objection.
I know. I'd change it if I could. I made a mistake, and I'm sorry.
Happy birthday.
Even after her mom got sick, Emma was always a happy girl. Then suddenly, about 8 months ago, she wasn't.
What changed?
She was scared and lonely. Zoe was either at work or at the hospital. Emma's brother had to walk her home from school every day.
What did you do?
My husband and I asked our daughter if Emma could stay with us after school. Zoe didn't like it. That's when she made Kate write her will.
She made Kate write her will?
Kate was getting sicker and sicker, and sometimes she didn't even recognize us. Zoe wanted to make sure she got sole custody of Emma.
Mrs. Boyd, did you persuade Emma to make false allegations against Zoe?
No. I saw Emma was unhappy, and I asked her what was wrong. That's all.
Thank you.
Mrs. Boyd, can you read the signature at the bottom of your daughter's will right next to where it says witness?
Ray Monahan.
So, Kate's ex-husband thought she was lucid enough to co-sign her will.
Kate wasn't thinking clearly. She didn't want to hurt Zoe. She wasn't thinking of the best home for Emma.
By the best home, do you mean the best heterosexual home?
Objection. Argumentative.
Let me rephrase. Do you think gay people should be allowed to raise children?
Ideally, no. I think children should be raised by their father and their mother.
This is why you made up allegations against Zoe Dunlop. Because your faith rejected the idea of a gay woman raising your
No,
granddaughter.
it isn't just about faith. I have read enough to know what would happen to Emma if Zoe raised her. What would happen? She will grow up sexually confused, promiscuous. She will experiment with homosexual relationships.
What makes you think that?
I have read studies studies. Like the one that says that kids raised by gay couples are 48 times more likely to be molested by their parents than kids raised by straight parents.
Where did you come across these studies?
My attorney showed them to me.
When did he show them to you?
Objection. Relevance.
Please answer the question, Mrs. Boyd.
During Emma's trial in family court.
So just before you accused Zoe Dunlop of molesting Emma.
Yes. What I read made me start looking for clues. Then when we found the photos, we knew we had to ask Emma what was going on.
Now, did Mr. Decker tell you what kinds of questions to ask
Your
Emma?
Honor, this line of questioning is a direct violation of attorney-client privilege.
Privilege protects the client, not the attorney, Your Honor.
I'll allow it. Go ahead, Mrs. Boyd.
Mr. Decker said to be forceful with Emma. He said molested children often deny being abused. Sometimes they have to be led to the truth.
Your Honor, Mr. Decker clearly coached his clients into manipulating an abuse allegation out of Emma. That's not just outrageous, it's criminal.
I offered advice on how to talk to an abused child. That's all.
Mr. and Mrs. Boyd never would have accused Zoe Dunlop of molesting Emma had it not been for Mr. Decker.
That's enough. Counsel approach.
Your Honor, Ms. Novak has absolutely no basis for these allegations.
And Mr. Decker has a history of representing straight clients, fighting custody battles for gay exes.
So I get slandered for choosing who I want to represent.
You fed your client's anti-gay material before custody was even an issue because you were gearing up for a fight. That means you conspired to keep Emma away from Zoe. That means you committed a hate crime.
It's ridiculous. Not to mention you can't prove any of it.
Mr. Decker, at the very least, this is a serious breach of ethical conduct. I have no choice but to remove you as counsel and declare a mistrial.
I'm willing to offer you a plea arrangement in exchange for your testimony against Mr. Decker.
How did we testify against him?
Because he manipulated you by using faulty research. According to the American Sociological Association, gay parents are not 48 times more likely to molest their kids.
The article I read says differently.
That article was written by a man who was expelled by the American Psychological Association for misrepresenting statistics. The American Academy of Pediatrics and the National Association of Social Workers both agree that kids raised in gay homes are just as healthy as kids raised in straight homes.
Why would Mr. Decker lie to us?
To further his agenda, he wanted to use you and Emma as an example of the damage homosexuality is doing to society. I'll be fine to protect Emma.
I'm making a YouTube video right now.
Someone has to speak to you. Emma, I'll meet you outside, okay?
I want to know why they're here.
I'm going to testify against Mr. Decker.
Zoe, we're so sorry. We were only trying to do what we thought was best for Emma.
I don't believe you. James Decker took advantage of them. The same way he took advantage of Emma. You know, it would be hard to forgive them.
It's not gonna happen. Zoe, please. She's my granddaughter. And she's my daughter. You turned my baby against me. You convinced her I was a child molester. How can I ever trust you?